We are all still on LeBron watch because the King says he will not play for the Lakers next year, and he's going to explore free agency. He has yet to make a decision. We thought he maybe would have slipped over the weekend, considering he had a microphone in his hand multiple times at Phonetics Fest in New York. And maybe he did. Listen to this.
I want to, join a franchise that kind of shares the same, motto as myself, and that's like practicing championship habits every day, but trusting the process more than anything. I think you trust the process of actually getting to that point.
Hold on. Realize, that's just a term.
That's the term.
And by the way,
I've been saying to trust the process since I was drafted in like 2003. I don't even know if he was even born yet.
Trust the process. We all had to rewind to be sure we heard the right thing. Brian Windhorst joins us now here on First Take. Wendy, was this a little bit of a breadcrumb maybe for LeBron?
No. Good morning, Shay. He did 3 hours. I think all of us can appreciate on this show having to fill hours of content without having much to say at times. And LeBron did 3 different shows for like 3 total hours and was determined not to give anybody anything. And the fans who came there were determined to get something. They were sitting on the edge of their seat. I promise you, midway through a sentence in the middle of his 3rd hour was not when he was dropping breadcrumbs. I do think, however, he has seriously considered Philly. He absolutely has had conversations with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid and Jaylen Brown. But he's also had conversations with players on other teams. And so that's what makes this decision so fascinating is you can make a reasonable case for Philadelphia. You can make a reasonable case for Miami. And of course, the case for Cleveland is very strong because he's from there. I do think that LeBron has some level of temptation to go outside the norm here. In other words, it would be a layup to go to Cleveland. And if he picks Cleveland, I think he won't have to do any explaining. I do think he has investigated Philly, and I do think he has looked into the process, so to speak. But no, Shay, I don't think this was anything but he's making a comment in the middle of a long day of content machining.
Stephen A.
I had cynics reach out to me and say, you know what? LeBron James should start a new sitcom. It should be called The Indecision because he can't make up his mind. And I came to his defense because I said, I don't believe that for 1 second. I believe he knows exactly where he's going. He just wanted to wait until the World Cup was over before he tells anybody. That's all. And Wendy, here's where my mindset lies. I've gone back and forth. I've vacillated back and forth because obviously he's got a home in Miami. He's got obviously a home in Akron, Ohio. But I've gone back and forth between Cleveland and Golden State for this reason. I think you go to Miami, that's about Pat Riley more so than it's about him. And even though fences have probably been mended to some degree, the bottom line is LeBron's trying to help himself, not Pat Riley. I think that when you look at Philly, that's just, the biggest appeal there is a 4th championship with a 4th different squad. And obviously nobody in NBA history has done that. So that might be something of an allure, of intrigue to him. But the reason why Cleveland and Golden State stand out in my mind is this. Literally in Golden State, he can have practice or game and fly home for 45 minutes and fly back the next morning. Literally, anytime he wants to, which means he would be near his family, which is obviously of paramount importance to him, particularly at this stage in his life. I don't think that that's a surprise to anybody. Here's the other thing. And Wendy, you can speak to this, but Doggy, you feel free to do so as well. I find it very hard to believe that LeBron would dangle Cleveland. That's not him when it comes to that area. That's home. And I think that for him to approach the final hours, minutes of his decision making, I don't think he's going to dangle Cleveland out there and then pick a Philadelphia or Miami. I think he does because Cleveland means so much to him. And because he's deified there and he can do no wrong. He passes gas, they'll call it perfume. He can do no wrong, okay? He goes to Cleveland. He knows what that area is going to mean to him. And his swan song, to end his career feeling joy every single day that you go to work because you're that beloved. That is LeBron James in Cleveland. And I think the only thing that justifiably usurps that is him being near home, which Golden State presents to him as an option. Playing with the greatest shooter God ever created in Steph Curry, who is still a superstar personified in this game. Going to work with him every day. LeBron will be in a position where he can go from averaging 20 points a game to averaging 20 assists because you're throwing it to Steph Curry. That's how lethal that would be. And he's near home. And he can go back and forth anytime he wants to. So to me, it comes down to those two in terms of my thinking. I have no idea. This is not 2010. I have no idea what he is going to do. I haven't heard what he's going to do. But I know that he's got a membership at a golf club, a golf spot in Cleveland, in the Cleveland area. But that don't mean anything. At some country club, but that don't mean anything. In the end, what it comes down to is that I think Cleveland means too much to him for him to dangle them out there and then choose Philly or Miami. And I think the only thing that potentially usurps that is being near his family out west, which is where Golden State comes in.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I think what Steve said makes perfect sense. I don't think he's going to Miami. He's already won there. He goes back there and doesn't win. It mars his 2 championships. Cleveland is home. This is me. I know you guys love to talk about this. I think most sports fans have had enough. Make a call. We know he was going to wait for the World Cup to end so he gets some spotlight. I think they're misreading it entirely. I don't think the sports fan right now in the middle of July is, I know that you guys think I'm wrong. I just don't sense that they're sitting there waiting around for LeBron to make his decision of where he's going to, when they've done it 4 times. It's not like they haven't done it before. He took forever with the decision. He went back to Cleveland, Lee Jenkins of Sports Illustrated. Then he goes to L.A. Now we're back in the situation again. To me, it's a little wearing as a sports fan. Wake me up when it's over. Now, that's the way I feel about it. A lot of people feel differently. Hey, you know what? He's LeBron James, big star. A lot of teams. He's on Fan Addicts. He's talking to Djokovic. And we can have some. You can milk it all you want. That to me, I don't like that from a sports fan's perspective, because that to me is just doing it from a PR perspective. He's made his mind up already. Wait, you don't think he's made his mind up? What's going to happen in the next 10 days? What didn't happen in the next 10 days? He hasn't made his mind up.
Well, he's been doing
that LeBron
stuff.
Doesn't know.
Well, he's been doing stuff. He's been doing stuff from a PR perspective since 2010. But I hear you.
And that's the problem there, Steve. See, that's the problem. And fans don't want to hear about PR. Jordan never did this stuff.
It's a different age.
Well, why is it different? You just don't do it.
It's just a different age. There's a lot more that comes with it. There's a lot more things that come along with it.
When did he announce that he was leaving the Lakers?
A month ago.
A month ago. It's taken him a month to figure out where he's going to play.
Well, a month ago, we didn't think teams like Philadelphia, Minnesota. I didn't know. We thought Cleveland, maybe staying in LA, maybe the Warriors. All these different